ಬಚ್ಚಿಡು ಬಚ್ಚಿಟ್ಟ ಮನದ ಕನಸೊಂದ ಹಿಂದೆ ಸಮಯ ಮುಂದೆ ಇಡಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ನಿನ್ನ ಸಾಹಸ ರಥಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾರಥಿಯಾಗಿ ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸಿದೆ ನಿನ್ನ ಬಾನಂಗಳ ಕೆಳೆದೊಯ್ಯುವ ರೆಕ್ಕೆಯಾಗಿ ಕೂಡಿದೆ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಲಿಸನ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದ ಈ ಸಂಚಿಕೆಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತ. ನಾನು ದೇವದತ್ತ. ನಮ್ಮ ತಂಡದವರಾದಂತಹ ಸುರೇಶ್ ಬಾಬು, ಗೋವರ್ಧನ್ ಗೌಡ, ರವಿ ಪಂಗಾಲ್, ವಿನೋದ್, ತೇಜಸ್, ಲೋಕೇಶ್, ಪೃಥ್ವಿ, ರಮ್ಯಾ, ದಿಲೀಪ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅನು ಇವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತವನ್ನು ಕೋರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪ್ರತಿ ವಾರ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಹುದ್ದೆಗಳಿಂದ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ಗಳಿಂದ ಸಾಧಕರನ್ನ ಕರೆದು ಅವರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಸಂವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ನಡೆದು ಹೋದಂತ ದಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವರು ಆ ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡಿದಂತ ದಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ಕಲ್ಲು ಮುಳ್ಳುಗಳಿದ್ವು, ಅದನ್ನ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗ್ ದಾಟಿದ್ರು. ದೂರದ ಬೆಟ್ಟ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಕಣ್ಣಿಗೆ ನುಣ್ಣಗ್ ಕಾಣುತ್ತೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಬೆಟ್ಟ ಗುಡ್ಡನ ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗ್ ಹತ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಆ ಸಾಧನೆ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಕುತೂಹಲ ನಮಗೆ. ಆ ಕುತೂಹಲದ ಒಂದು ಪುಟ, ಅವರ ಜೀವನದ ಒಂದು ಪುಟನ ನಾವು ನೋಡಿ ಅದರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಕಲಿಯುವಂತಹ ಆಸೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರ ಸಾಧನೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಈ ತರ ಪ್ರತಿ ವಾರ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸಾಧಕರನ್ನ ಸಂವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ನಾವು ಈ ತಿಂಗಳು ಮಹಿಳೆಯರು ಮತ್ತು ಮಹಿಳಾ ಸಾಧಕರನ್ನ ಕುರಿತು ಒಂದು ವಿಶೇಷ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಏಕೆಂದರೆ ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರೀಯ ಮಹಿಳಾ ದಿನಾಚರಣೆ ನಡೀತು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರು ಹಾಗೂ ಅವರ ಸಾಧನೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಈ ತಿಂಗಳು ಕಲಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಆ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸಾಧಕರು ನಮ್ಮೊಡನೆ ಇಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಬ್ಯಾರೆನ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಓದ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಬ್ಯಾರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ವೆರಿ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಕ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದು ಬರೀ 11% ಅಷ್ಟೇ. 11% ಸಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ತರ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಿಗೆ ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ. ಆ ಥರ ಕಷ್ಟದ ಮುಂದೆನು ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡತಿ ದೀಪಾ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಅವರು JP Morgan Chase ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾಸ್ ಬಿಗ್ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಡೇಟಾ, AI ಮತ್ತು ML ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ, ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂಗ್ಗೆ CTO ಹುದ್ದೆಯನ್ನ ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಹುದ್ದೆಯನ್ನ JP Morgan Chase ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಡೆದು ಮಿಂಚಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೂ ಈ ಹುದ್ದೆಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯಕ್ ಮುಂಚೆನು ಅವರು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಮೇಸಿಸ್ ತರ ಕಾಮರ್ಸ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಸಾಧನೆಯ ಹಾದಿಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಲು ದೀಪಾ ಅವರೇ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತ ಸುಸ್ವಾಗತ.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ದೇವದತ್ ಅವರೇ. ಹಲೋ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫಾರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಮೀ.
ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ದೀಪಾ ಅವರೇ, ವೀಕೆಂಡ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಟೈಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ನಾನು ನಿಮ್ಮ ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮೆ ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನನಗೆ ಜಾ ಡ್ರಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ, ಅದರ ಓ ಮೈ ಗಾಡ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಶಾಕ್ ಆಯ್ತು ನನಗೆ ನೋಡಿ. ನೀವು ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಅದು ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಮೆರಿಕಾಸ್ ಬಿಗ್ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ JP Morgan Chase ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಹುದ್ದೆಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೆರಿಯರ್ ಟ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟರಿ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಾಯಲ್ಲೇ ಕೇಳಕ್ ಒಂದು ಆಸೆ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ಶ್ರೋತೃಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೇಗಿತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೆರಿಯರ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಶುರುವಿಂದ ಇವಾಗ CTO ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ದಾರಿಯ ಒಂದು ತುಣುಕನ್ನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ಖಂಡಿತ. I'll be happy to. So ನಂದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಮಿನಿಯಾಪೊಲಿಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ GMAC RFC ನಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರುವಾಯಿತು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೇಟಾ ಅನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಿಟಿ ಮಚ್ ಒರಾಕಲ್, SQL ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೇಟಾ ಅನಲಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 2-3 years. ಆವಾಗ ನನ್ನ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್ಗೆ ಸಿಲಿಕಾನ್ ವ್ಯಾಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಎ .com ಬೂಮ್ ಬಸ್ಟ್, ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಕಾಲ್, ಇನ್ 2000. ಸೊ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಫೋರ್ನಿಯಾ ಕಡೆ ಮೂವ್ ಆದಾಗ ದೆನ್ I became a consultant. Then I also looked for the job. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ BI ಡೆವಲಪರ್, BI ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆ ಥರ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ I got exposure to a lot of different projects and different arenas, right? Adagi then timely startup was the happening thing. Silicon Valley nalli I also startup company shuru madkonde. The good thing about startup is ನೀವು one role ಆಗಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, then next thing you know, you're jack of all, master of none. I think it's a very good thing. So even though ನಾನು BI engineer ಆಗಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, at some time was part-time DBA, and also next thing you know, in 6-7 months or a year from then, ನಾನು ಸೇಲ್ಸ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆಗು ಟೂರ್ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೆ, so that you give the demo of your product and all that. You
ಯಾವ
just
company ಇದು?
gives open latitude ಅಂತ. So B2B company. So then I enjoyed the fast pace, and it was like when you're young, your mind is like a sponge. You absorb all the technology and challenges, everything. So then with that, I survived 2 or 3 rounds of layoffs. Then finally, 4th round, it was only some VPC CEO, and I was left, and I also got laid off. And 1 week I was very feeling bad, like, oh my God, this is the first time I got laid off and I'm not wanted, anatara. But next week, in a 1 week, I bounced back saying I could apply for almost 3 to 4 types of jobs in the market. Within 2 weeks or so, I got the job being on H1. So I started as a consultant, Wells Fargo nalli, city nalli. For 3 months contract bantu, then I thought, okay, that's fine. We'll take one step at a time. I'm not going to think too much, especially being on H1. So 3 months contract turned into 11 years of my fantastic time at Wells Fargo. So 3 months in there, then they converted me full time, and worked around in a lot of departments: bill pay, private client services, and wealth management, and finally sales and marketing. Sales and marketing time, the online sales and marketing area dalli, I became in charge of all data. That was my very first management job, where we built the customer 360-degree view with the power of data. That is when I became very passionate about data. It's not about just by somebody's observation. It's a fact that is converting into insights. You're converting data into information that you can take action on. So that is when I really thought, this is the place I want to be, a data segment. Along the line, I moved around the departments and also continuous learning. With that, I was a keynote speaker in one of the mobile conference in Barcelona. I think avag on the exposure sikdaga, Macy's.com gave me a call. We are doing this omni-channel effort. Will you join? Anta. So then when I joined that, that is another wow experience. So a lot of people are aware of BOPS, buy online, pick up on store. That feature, non-work madiddo, that was the beginning of it in 2012, 2013 time ali. So we married the data with Macy's store, with the online store. Until then, those two were operating almost like a different companies. So when data was a glue, we saw immense business opportunities, and the sales opportunities, and customer service opportunities. So that's where I really felt good about I'm in the right direction, and advanced analytics and the e-commerce and all that stuff. It started. With that said, it was I would say it was a lot going on, a lot of travel ಬೇರೆ ಇತ್ತು ಅವಾಗ, and also at the same time I had a young son. He was about 3-4 years old, so I did not like the fact I'm away from the family. So I made a conscious decision to step down and find a more local company. Then I started with Rodan and Fields. It's a women founders, women-run CEO company. So I wanted to stay put for so that I enjoy the family side of it. I think that was one of the best decision I made. Our time nalli nanu a lot of technology, I upskilled it. So since there was not a lot of management and strategy work, I upskilled myself and was current with all the technology stuff. Then pandemic hit, and then a lot of things changed, and the kids also grew up, right? So I joined data.ai. That is where I felt it was truly an AI company. Everything that we did was AI. Our products were AI. We pretty much took the public data and turn into a gold, that insights, right? So that was, you really feel the power and the impact of what work you do. While I was in data AI, I got a call from JPMC that there's this position, and then I was not sure if I'm ready to go back to the that kind of high level job that I was at the Macy's. Then one thing was said. My son said, "That's okay, Mom. I can you can take the job. I can take care of myself. I make my own bagel and omelet anyway in the morning. So you should take it." So I think that is when I felt, you know what? I think it's a signal. It's a signal of you not only raise kid and take care of family. That's an indicator of they're going to be self-service. That's when I thought, okay, I'll take this chance, and I accepted. JP Morgan Chase, Palo Alto. I oversee all these, anything and everything with the data, AI, ML for commercial banking. That we move trillions of data and money every day. So it's pretty very, I would say, great experience so far for me. Very welcoming culture. And it's quite a lot. It's coming back to home and experience ಆಯ್ತು ನನಗೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ I spent 11 years at Wells Fargo and back to financial industry with more power, more data, and it's at the exponential level from 11 years ago to this, and how financial institutions are applying technology to power their applications is amazing. It is no longer seen as a cost center. It is seen very much as an asset. Data and technology is seen as an asset. So a big difference from where I started at Wells Fargo to the Chase.
Yeah, I think what I like about this is how I think your first job or two, you called people, and afterwards it's been you're getting calls. So like I like how the tables turned.
It is. I think when you keep up with the technology, when you keep learning, I think things will happen. When you really aim and be fixated about your goal, many people get frustrated. I was frustrated at one point, but when I stepped down and did the right thing, it just helped me to self-reflect and be comfortable in the journey.
So one thing you said, each step, you said you were talking about upskilling, right? Like, how do you do this? How do you upskill? And I think, like, given in today's, we'll talk a lot about data and AI in just a bit.
Yeah.
Even in today's world, AI is taking such a huge role that people will have to upskill themselves and get more involved in AI, no matter what they're doing. So, Neevu, in your career journey, without like really focusing on AI, how did you upskill, and then what are the things that you worked for you when you were trying to upskill?
A very good question. ನಾನು Wells Fargoದಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ I had a full-time job. I enrolled in executive MBA program, and then I was pregnant. So that tells quite a bit about learning, appetite for learning. So I did my MBA, the strategic work, ಮತ್ತೆ operations, statistics. It was all very well bundled for executive MBA, especially for women or anybody who have kind of undergrad and went to like took up a job. I think it's a best program, executive MBA, where they bundle it. They put a cohort system and ella. So just not technology. It's more about strategic work, leadership work. What is financial institutions have to know. It was a good exposure and project. So I think that was like a buffet. Doing executive MBA was like a buffet of what's available, right? Then adrinda I was able to jump on. But as I moved to different teams, growth ಎಲ್ಲರೂ vertical ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತಾರಲ್ವಾ. It's never always the vertical or linear. It's you got to go sometimes zigzag and horizontal ಕೂಡನು. So learning different business area within the bank, it's quite complex. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ technology, how we are applying ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ. So you learn automatically. You just have to be open for change and learning ashte. So don't leave yourself too comfortable nor too laid back, I would say.
That's awesome. So like maybe you always try to put yourself out of your comfort zone. Even though you were pregnant and with all of those family responsibilities, ನೀವು MBA ಗೆ ಎನ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಖಂಡಿತ ಒಳಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಂದು ಭಯ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಅದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡಿ MBA ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹುದ್ದೆನಲ್ಲೇನೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಜನದಿಂದ ಕಲ್ತು then you're motivated enough to add value everywhere. So that's very fascinating.
Thank you.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಗೇನ್ ಲೈಕ್ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಯು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಯುವರ್ ಕೆರಿಯರ್, ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ? ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಫ್ಯಾಸಿನೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ಸಿ ನೀವು ವಿ ನೋ ನೌ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಯುವರ್ ರೆಸ್ಯೂಮೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನೇನೆಲ್ಲ ಸಾಧಿಸಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ದಾರಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರೋವರೆಗೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೊದಲನೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಸಿಗಕ್ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ತುಣುಕು ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ ನಮ್ಗೆ?
Oh, certainly. Yeah. Believe it or not, ನಾನು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಹಳ್ಳಿಲಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿ ಊರಲ್ಲಿ. ಒಂದೆರಡು ಬಸ್ ಬಂದು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಈವನ್ ನನ್ನ ಬರ್ತ್ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಸಿಗಕ್ಕೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು ಟೈಮು. ಸೊ ಹೊಸದುರ್ಗ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ನಾನು. ಬೆಳೆದಿದ್ದು ಓದಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ತುಮಕೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ. SIT ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ತುಮಕೂರಿನಲ್ಲೇ. ಒಂದ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಯವರು ಹಳ್ಳಿಲಿ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗಕ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಸಿಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅವರು ಬರೇ 5 ವರ್ಷ 5th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ವರ್ಗೂ ಹೋದ್ರು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಶಿ ಮೇಡ್ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಟು ಹರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್, ನನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ನಾನು ಓದಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಥರ. ಸೊ ಐ ಗೆಟ್ ಎಮೋಷನಲ್ ವೆನೆವರ್ ಐ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಪ್ರತಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಹೆಜ್ಜೆನಲ್ಲೂ ಅವ್ರು ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಕೊಟ್ರು. ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡ್ದಿದ್ರು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಓದೋದಂತೂ ಮಾಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಮನೇಲಿ ಏನೇ ಕೆಲಸಗಳಿದ್ರು ಪಾಪ ಅವರೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು she put education as a priority in our house. So that was one of the biggest thing. It was like non-negotiable. So ನಾನು ಚಿಕ್ಕವಳಿದ್ದಾಗ my interests were everywhere. ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಕಲ್ಚರಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ನಾನು ಸರ್ಕಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದಾಗ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಬಿ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಸರ್ಕಸ್ as a circus girl ಅಂತಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ನಂತೆ. So I'm sure they had that fear. I don't know where this girl is going to end up ಅನ್ನೋ ಥರ. So she kept the focus. No matter what you will be in your future, you have to get a degree. ಆ ಥರ ನನಗೂ ನನ್ನ ಅಕ್ಕಂಗೂ ತುಂಬಾನೇ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಕೊಟ್ರು. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕನು ಶಿ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ವೆಲ್ ನೋನ್ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಇನ್ ಟ್ಯಾಂಪಾ ಬೇ. ಕರೋನಾ ವೈರಸ್ ಪ್ಯಾಂಡಮಿಕ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಶಿ ವಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಇನ್ ದ TV. So why I'm mentioning all this is it was very bread and butter. It's like ತರ ಅನ್ನ ಸಾರ್ ತರ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. Education was the main thing. So it was ingrained for us to do well and all that. So my engineering ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ then I also took the course of Java and Oracle and all that was happening at the time, mid 90s ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So then I got married and landed in Minneapolis. That's when I mentioned about my career journey. So ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿ ತಂದೆ ಆ ಥರ ನಮಗೆ ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ I don't think where I would be today. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ಎಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಿದ್ನೋ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, but I think that was the biggest one.
That's awesome. And it's great to hear both. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕ like yeah, so ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕ you achieved so much in life. Again like ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತ ರೆಕಗ್ನಿಷನ್ ಗೆ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಸೊ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಇತ್ತು. ನೀವು ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಚೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರಲ್ವಾ, ಸೊ ನೀವು ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರ್ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಏನು?
ಅದೊಂದು ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಕಥೆ ಇದೆ. ಹೋಪ್ಫುಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ
ಇದೆ ಹೇಳಿ.
ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕ ಅವ್ರು 5 ವರ್ಷ ಮಗು ಇದ್ದಾಗಿಂದ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಫ್ರೀ ನಮ್ಮ ಮನೇಲಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿಗೆ. ಇನ್ ಮೈ ಕೇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಐ ಸೆಡ್, ಈಗ 1 ವರ್ಷ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಪೈಲಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವರ್ಷ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸರ್ಕಸ್ ಸೇರ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅನ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಐ ವಾಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಬಸ್ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟರ್. ಆ ಥರ I was like, I had a lot of interest. And then at some point I wanted to be a poet. ಒಂದು poem ಬರ್ದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತೆಲ್ಲ. This is all in middle school and elementary. So that was me, right? So then at the same time there were a lot of leadership skills. ನಾನು ಅಲ್ಲೇನೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಫಂಡ್ ರೈಸಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಇದು ಗರ್ಲ್ ಸ್ಕೌಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ. ಸೊ ಐ ವಾಸ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಒಂದೇ ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ he said, I think you have a lot of leadership skills, but you don't know where your leadership will come into play. So why don't you just try towards IAS officer ತರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. But then I didn't go that route, but somehow science was the thing. Somehow I leaned towards science, and then okay, engineering is the safest. Okay, in fact, at that point I was a disappointment in my house. My
Wow.
sister went to become a doctor. She was already, and then instead of becoming more towards IAS officer or KS, I chose engineering. It just felt like I was not going anywhere or settled for less types. So I'm glad I chose, and it got me in a very zigzag way where I am today.
Yeah, definitely. I think like when you say zigzag, actually, the opening statement I remember. So I read on Barron's, right? Like they say that in banking, over the past 5 years, the number of people in C-suite for banks have increased by 10%. I was like, oh wow, that's growth. But then when I see, it just only changed from 10% to 11%. So I think like the odds were definitely stacked up against you. And then you powered through this. So like, what are your thoughts on this? And like, especially not just banking, or and of course times have changed for women even in India here. But nimge, when you did this career choice, even though you had a lot of family support, how did that translate in your career? So obviously the career challenges would have been very different, alwa? So how did you power through those to get to your present C-level title?
Oh, yeah, good. I think there is a two-part question, right? One on Barron's, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು family support, right?
Correct.
So I'll go with the family support, and then I jump to the Barron's stats you mentioned. I think it's the ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳ್ದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ. The support is like definitely big one, big support structure. Now it's like you move as an immigrant, first time immigrant, you know all the normal challenges, right? So ನನ್ನ husband, he's been a biggest backbone for me. In fact, even now he's my advisor. So I will tell all kinds of problems or any challenges I discuss with him, and then he sit back and relax and listens, and then he kind of gives a couple of advices, and then it just hits the bulb. So I'm very thankful for him for being my advisor all the time, and also supporting in any ways, right? It's nammanenalla ashtu gender parity illa. So I'm very lucky. So in even cooking agli, I make sure we eat very healthy. Most of my Sunday afternoon goes with all cooking and freezing for the week. And then at the same time, in a way, the silver lining in the pandemic is we all learned, and when I say we, my husband and my son, we all learned the cooking. So they're all very self-sufficient right now. Travel ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ pretty much ಈ ಹೊಸ ಜಾಬ್ ಇಂದ ತುಂಬಾ travel ಇದೆ. So it's pretty much they cook, they take care. I think I feel very blessed in that way. So there is no more like cooking is women's job or any other particular is any work ಅದರಲ್ಲೇನು gender attachment ಇಲ್ಲ ಮನೇಲಿ. So we do it. ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಸತಿ ನಾನು ಅರ್ಲಿ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಐ ಹವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಮೈ ಸನ್ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಎ ಆಮ್ಲೆಟ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಡ್ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಸೊ ದೋಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಗುಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಸೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಟ್. ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟೆಡ್ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ಅಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರಿಲೈ. ನಾನು ಜೊತೆಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಐ ಆಮ್ ನಾಟ್ ಅಟ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಫ್ರೈಡ್ ಆಫ್ sharing. I still remember dropping off my son in a wrong soccer field because I was in a hurry. So I dropped him off in the wrong soccer field, and then only to call my friend, oh, can you please drop him back in the right place in the vicinity lalira. So I count on a lot of these little favors that my friends have given me, even in school vishayadalle agli, I was feeling guilty. I was not up to date with all the slur of emails that comes from schools. Alva. I would call a friend. It's like, what is happening? I saw 5 emails coming from the school. She would just tell me, these are the main summary you have to remember. So I'm very thankful for such kind of help. ನನ್ನ friends ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲಿ, and again my family also, and I have a lot of mentors as well. I have mentors. I never shy away from asking questions. And I don't believe in perfectness. So mentors, sadly, it's not just women mentors or Indian mentors I have mentors from Eritrea, Eritrean heritage in there, though many men who are Caucasians and women who are in leadership in Caucasians, and also in various sectors. They're not all of them on technology, and some in various different strategy field. So I think all this support helps. One is that, work, don't put gender at all into any mix. And that's where big thing in our house. And then among your trust your friends, build your friendship. Nanik time adaga nanu I try to return the favor. I make time, bring you back to community, and then having that mentorship. Those are the 3-4 areas that has helped me.
Actually, I wanted to ask you a little bit on that. And just by talking with you, I can tell that you're a very warm personality. I'm sure you've helped your friends back. But hey, how do you, if there is any advice here for ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇ ಏರಿಯಾಗೆ ಬಂದಿರೋಂಥ ಹೊಸ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಇವಾಗ ತಾನೇ ಅವ್ರ ಕೆರಿಯರ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋಂಥ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪುರುಷರಿಗೆ, how ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ನನ್ನ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಜಂಪ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ KKNC. ನಾನು 15 ವರ್ಷದ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ KKNC ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಲಾಂಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅವಾಗ ಐ ಗಾಟ್ ಮೈ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಬೂಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ KKNC. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಶಿಪ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ನೆಟ್ವರ್ಕ್ ನ ಹೌ ಡು ಯು ಗ್ರೋ ಅಂಡ್ ನರ್ಚರ್ ಇಟ್?
Yeah, very good question. Actually, I'm a born extrovert. I love people, and I do not go to people with a purpose or an intention. So I think that has helped me to be free. The moment you put a purpose or ನಾನು ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಸಿದ್ದು, I want this in return back and takshna, it takes a toll on the relationship in nan prakara. So because I naturally love people, I love them for nothing, meaning nothing in return. So I just want to have a good time, and I'm willing to give back. Tara iga namma illu Tri-Valley Kannada Sangha ide, we mingle and we talk and expect nothing back actually. And if it is meant to be, it comes back. And then we already talked about continuous learning. Yeah. And that is a constant. Continuous learning is a constant thing. It should be you and not expectation from others. And the jotege nanu San Francisco nal 15 to 16 years I worked. So it is like a melting pot of the whole world. There's a lot of diversity. So alliddaga I was exposed to a lot of different small theatrical actors who they were doing as a part-time out of a corporate job. They were doing marathons, they were hiking, and there were a lot of meetups happening, technical meetups as well, and conferences. Antadikella I would go. And I was getting inspired. With all these conferences, meetup, and I'm the one who love people for who they are, not about what they do. So I think that would help you to connect, and somehow you will learn something from each one of them without making a kind of effort anta nanu ansute nan prakara.
Awesome. That is super helpful. Actually, the way to grow a network is always a mystery, especially for introverts. Like yen madadu anta, the steps that is usually a mystery, but like that was very helpful. Thank you.
Finlo Tax, the leading tax consultant in the Bay Area. Prasanna Kumar ಅವರು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ತಾನೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, Bay Areaದ professional tax consultant. Tax filing, tax preparation, accounting, planning, bookkeeping services for individual ಅಥವಾ small business. ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರದ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ you can reach Prasanna Kumar at 408-222-02 59. ಮೈಸೂರು ಶ್ರೀರಂಗ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ಯೋರ್ ಆಟೋಮೊಬೈಲ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್. 20 ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದಲೂ ಬೇರೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ವಾಹನದ ಆರೈಕೆಗೆ ಒನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಶ್ರೀ ಆಟೋ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್. ಶ್ರೀ ಆಟೋ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ ಫ್ರೀಮಾಂಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅವರ ಫೋನ್ ನಂಬರ್ 5109968404. ಇನ್ನೊಮ್ಮೆ 5109968404. ಅಮೇರಿಕಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಈ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ನ ಸಹಕಾರ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್. ಎಸ್, ರಿಯಲ್ ಎಸ್ಟೇಟಲ್ಲಿ ಟಾಪ್ ನಾಚ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಿರೋ ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರೇ. ಕನ್ನಡದವರೇ ಆದ ಗಿರೀಶ್ ಜೊತೆ ರಿಯಲ್ ಎಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬಹಳ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಹಿ ಈಸ್ ಸೋ ನಾಲೆಜಬಲ್. ನನ್ನ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್, ರಿಯಲ್ ಎಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಡ್ರೀಮ್ ಹೌಸ್ ತಗೋಬೋದು, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಬೀಚ್ ಯೋರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹೋಮ್ ಆರ್ ಯೋರ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಆರ್ ಮೆನಿ ಮೋರ್. ಫಾರ್ ರೀಚ್ ಔಟ್ ಗಿರೀಶ್ at 408-420-0646 ಅಥವಾ gbangalore@interroad.com. ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಫ್ರೀಡಮ್ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ತಾನೇ ಬೇಕಿಲ್ಲ? ಬಟ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ತಲೆನೋವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ, ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ಯುವರ್ ಫೈನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್, ಎಸ್, ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, 401k ರೋಲ್ ಓವರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ರಿಟೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ಲಾನ್, ಡೆಟ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್, ಫಿನಾನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ಲಾನಿಂಗ್, ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್, ಲೈಫ್, ಆಟೋ, ಹೋಮ್, ರೀಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಮಾರ್ಗೇಜ್ ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗೆ ಪರಿಹಾರ ಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ಎಸ್, ರೀಚ್ ಔಟ್ ಟು ಅನಿಲ್ ಹಾಲಪ್ಪ. ಹೌದು, ಅನಿಲ್ ಹಾಲಪ್ಪ ಅವರ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ 209-380-9858 ಅಥವಾ halappa@primerica.com. ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ಗಳಿಗೂ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಬಿಗ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
I think you were going to comment about the Barron's report, so maybe you should.
So on the Barron's report, I think 10%, 11%, definitely 1% increase. We take every decimal increase, right? But I think there's a long way to go in achieving gender parity. So especially in financial services, historically it's been male dominated, and there are many, many reasons for that. And then many limitations as well on career progression on women's side and all. I think more and more, just like the way I was given opportunity here at JPMC, when we see more women coming in this level, it doesn't have to be C-level. I think leadership starts from every angle, every percentage, right? The more mentorship, sponsorship programs now ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ with the unconscious bias ಆಗಿ, I think that gap will slowly reduce, in my opinion. And a lot of companies nowadays are really making a conscious effort on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think 10 years from now, we will be talking different percentage. I'm very hopeful.
I actually was looking at stats yesterday in prep for this meeting. The number of college graduates, like who are graduating college now, it's 2 times more girls are graduating than men. So I think I feel like probably in the next 10 years, there's going to be a huge pool of very talented women who can take jobs and also probably grow faster. And ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ದಂಗೆ the climate and also the atmosphere, the environment will change with definitely, at least in the US, I feel like in the next 10 years, things will be very different.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm hoping for it. I'm sure we all have to do a little bit of everything, whatever we can. And then as long as we don't put gender in any decision, I think naturally things should kind of normalize anta ankonteni. But this, because of centuries of difference, we have to make conscious effort to give the opportunity. Opportunity sigate. The message I have for all the women and girls is like, it's a two-way street. Opportunities are given. It's your responsibility to seize it. Don't make anybody lower the bar just because you're a woman or a girl. Just go get it. Seize the opportunity. Be current. Be up there, continuously learn. Or else I would not want to take the job just because I'm a woman.
Correct. Actually, that's a great segue. I anyway wanted to talk to you about your advice to young women. So in your opinion, obviously, like I said, data and AI is going to be very hot field, which going forward. I mean, in general, women who are girls or even men who are looking to get into AI and data fields, what is your particular advice? I mean, like, what kind of skills is crucial for kids who are maybe just entering college, and those who are already interested in data and AI, they want to make a career here. Ian, what are the things that you recommend that they should start doing?
Very good question. First of all, you have to have an appetite for learning. The technology is not easy to keep up, right? So if you want something, same routine thing, standard ABC, XYZ for the day, definitely. I don't encourage anyone to get into this, or else you'll be fighting yourself every day. So if you are hungry or humble, that is hungry for learning and humble to take the feedback and continuously learn, there is no limit for it. To answer your question, technology is fast moving. So basic skills is like Python, SQL, those kind of things are the ones that you have to get started if you haven't started yet. And then a lot about what would be coming up is a quantum computing and edge computing and all. But before even going that, it just be curious and be current about all the cloud technologies and all the open source technologies. They're out there free. There's Coursera, there's Udemy, all kinds of things. They're like, nowadays, all these training are very broken down into smaller components. Like each one is like a 5 minutes chapter, 10 minutes chapter. You don't even notice how you can learn quickly. So start there. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of technology at all. It's just gives a lot more flexibility for you to manage work-life balance and do other things if you want to. And I would say that.
But also, like, one other thing is, like, now when we see kids these days, I was again looking up stats. In some surveys, they say that up to 63% of kids had a mental breakdown and cried last year when they were trying to prep for exams. And there's a lot of stress among students and kids. I think we had a brief discussion about this when we were talking. So in the same vein, right? Like, I know that, like, kids are trying to excel. They're trying to learn new things, new technologies, so that they can be ahead of the curve. But at the same time, it also translates to a lot of stress, Alva. Like, hey, you've been a very successful parent on top of being a very successful professional. So Nimma Prakara, for women and men, parents who are bringing up their children, what are some of the things that they should look for when they're parenting their children?
Good question. First of all, I want to clarify, I'm not a successful parent nor a successful career woman. I'm always in a work in progress. That's the moment you think you're successful, you're already going downhill. That's my mentality, right? So I'm working progress. I made a lot of mistakes and I've learned a lot. I love mistakes so that it's launches. So that's a little correction. And then what I would like to tell about for the definitely kids and just our generation is like, college is one of the stepping stone, not the only stepping stone. Well, as long as you have appetite for learning, which particular college you go, it may or may not matter. I know a lot of parents may not like it when they hear this from me, but I just feel that way. And when the 5 angles, 10 angles in the ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂನು ಆ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋ ಆಂಗಲ್ಗೂ there's a big difference what that generation can do to their generation, a big thing. So I feel there is no need to stress so much about getting into that one particular college, and that defines me success is defined in many angles, and I feel that is not the end of it all. So it's okay to relax, learn. It's like a marathon. It's not a sprint, 100-meter sprint. Just you college serkonda tashna, nobody guarantees that you're guaranteed millionaire or billionaire, whatever your success definition is. It's just the beginning. What you do with the education, and is your curiosity still alive, or are you going through crash and burn? Those are the very self-reflection as a family we have to do. And I know our generation education has changed to what we are seeing today. It's easy for me to say it, but I see every day, and none organization there are like at least 3 to 4 generations of people who are in my department. I see that is diversity, where you bring the ideas. If I hire all Python developers, you know what the output is going to be, right? But we make conscious decision about why we hire, what is diversity and inclusion. So, and ನನ್ನ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾನ್ಫರ್ಡ್ ಗ್ರಾಜ್ಯುಯೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಗ್ರಾಜ್ಯುಯೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, there are graduates from every community college, and then look at me, I graduated from Tumkur, right? So it's just the curiosity, what you bring to the table, how you apply matters big time. Keep that alive. Don't be like a crash and burn. Treat education as a marathon, or a Ironman marathon, 100 miles marathon, whatever it is what I would say.
So I think I think from your childhood, now if we have to draw some inspiration, you had different targets every year, but I think you picked up leadership skills, and then you picked up how to make friends with people. Then I think you were a more well-rounded person when you entered the academic engineering path, because I see now that a lot of colleges, at some stats I saw, was like up to 70% of colleges are now either have already phased out SAT scores or like considering phasing them out. So standardized tests are like no longer the thing that people have to only do to get into a college. So I think like the landscape is changing, and people have to evolve alongside that. And I feel like I think your path and career is an excellent example for kids to learn from, I would say.
Yeah, everybody's journeys is different. As long as they don't tie a success to a college, a success to a dollar amount, I think they're safe.
Awesome. Okay, so now we spent a lot of time talking about your career and your family. It was super fascinating. Ika, I want to jump to my favorite part of the discussion, because you're in data and AI. It's a field that I'm very close to as well. With my most recent startup, we do data analytics. So it's something that's very close to me. So Neevu, you've been an industry veteran. You briefly touched upon this when you were doing your intro. That you've seen data and AI from a while now, and even before big data was big data, you've done BI, and then you've seen that trajectory, and here we are today where we have AI as one of the hottest things that people are talking about. So Nim Prakara, how is this data? How is this span? How did it evolve in your worldview?
Yeah. Good, very good question. Yeah, it comes from we were talking about megabytes back in 90s, right? And the floppy disk now belongs in a museum almost. So I think back then computing, the processing power of computers were measured in megaflops, right? Like millions of floating points operations per second. And over time, then we went to gigaflops, and then went to like a teraflops. Teradata analytically, we were measuring the size of data. Now we are at the petaflops, right?
Yeah.
Quadrillions floating points operations per second. That itself will tell, right? Whether you're using a shovel or a bobcat to move your dirt, atara. So it's come a long way. So that shows the data has exploded exponentially. From the regular scheduled reporting, we have come to advanced reporting, and then now it is becoming more. All the AI is powering every application. Before a human knows what he or she wants, AI is telling, you may like these 3 things, choose one. So the analytics have gone a long way. So sometimes I think we will pretty sure it's gonna come to the time we may ask AI, who am I? So, and that much the data has exploded, and the analytics has been done, and the computation power that has also evolved exponentially is making it possible to make all these things happen. If somebody is running still some scheduled reporting, I would be warning them. you get, yeah, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like ivaga real-time analytics and predictive analytics ಸೇರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ, like, yeah, if somebody is in scheduled analytics, then they should probably look into their books right away. So nimtu in of course, like, there's so much of technology and so much moving alwa, like, but in, let's say, if you look from where you stand and you look ahead, what are the few pieces of technology that you're really interested and excited about?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Let me think. I think we are in, people would say we are, AI is coming, and I would say it's here. It's already here. So I think what I would be looking for is the trend, not particular technology. Particular technology, I would say we are looking at the super pods in the data centers. Forget about GPU and all that, right? Super pods. Last week, 2 weeks ago now, NVIDIA CEO ಹತ್ರ ಮೀಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. Then ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, it's just they're already making these super pods. They already have it in their data centers. That tells what we are looking for, how data is going to power. So back to your question, I'm thinking the trends that would be I'll be seeing is all this generative AI, chat GPT, it's making a noise alla kade. So I think it's an artificial intelligence that involves the creating of new and original content. That is kind of scary and at the same time a good thing. So there's always a silver lining, and there's always pros and cons of everything. Then there's the explainable AI. I will look for that. The next thing to come up is, for example, for a lot of folks, AI seems like a black box. And as long as if AI models can explain themselves, how they arrived at their decisions, this could be very particularly important in healthcare and finance industries, how decisions are made, what is the significant consequences of these each step. That is something I'm looking for in the trend, explainable AI, generative AI, and then definitely all this about quantum computing, right? It's going to really accelerate the data processing and analysis in big time. And you already know about all the edge computing, all the IoT, right? Wearable devices and all that. That's going to continue to grow. And big thing is want to watch out and interested is like a responsible AI or AI ethics, because that can start competing with the human intelligence and our lives.
Actually, that was my next question for you. When you said ChatGPT and generative AI, ChatGPT, if you give it a prompt and say, school, you got a homework assignment, you put it into ChatGPT, and then you'll get a very convincing essay out of ChatGPT. So we see a lot of teachers getting worried about it, or a lot of parents getting worried about it. Do you think it's right? Should parents be worried about AI, or should they figure out how to get their kids to use it?
Very good question, actually. Yeah, as a parent, I do sometimes worry about, right? What would happen to their cognitive power if they stop using it, right? The evolution has proved it. Like, if you stop using certain things, eventually that doesn't have a use for it or a meaning in life types. That is like centuries away, in my opinion. At the same time, it's good and bad both. Basic foundation, no one should get away from it, right? Basic foundation is everything: learning, writing, reading, and comprehension. Those are very important, regardless what ChatGPT can do, cannot do. I think the parents, kids, and schools have to focus on it. It's like writing is a motor skills. It's not an art anymore. Man, it should not be an art. And that way, I would say it's good and bad. At the same time, I'm thinking with ChatGPT, it can also do like a personalized learning. I think 10, 15 years from now, or even sooner, I cannot tell how fast these things are moving. It could come to a point of personalized learning with all this AI. By analyzing students' performances and their profile, it could even customize the curriculum for it, tailor for it, for them to be successful apart from the standard books that many kids can get bored, right? That opens up more avenues and opportunities for school systems and education systems, in my opinion. Even curriculum development, identify the pattern, how each kid learns and how it should be tailored. It can go, if you use it right, to a right direction, or it could backfire if you make that as a wheelchair for you. When you can walk, you should walk, and let the AI power you, or ChatGPT power you to walk faster or fly, but do not use that to be your wheelchair. That's what I would say. It's all in how you put to use. That's right.
That's a great piece of advice. So I mean, just taking that further, you did say AI and ethics becomes very important, and also like a lot of people are thinking through ethics and who should regulate AI. So like EU is trying to regulate it. I keep reading reports. EU's regulation was pre-ChatGPT era. Their whole regulation is kind of outdated right now, just because of how ChatGPT has changed it. Without getting controversial, where do you think the government's role is in regulating AI?
Yeah, I'm sure there will be departments in every company and the government and offices for AI, just like energy and electricity and water itself is a department. I'm sure it's already there or happening, where they should address about fairness, transparency, privacy, and accountability, and overall responsible AI and ethics. What do humans want from AI, and what do we want to be is a very important question. Do we want AI to control us or power us or co-pilot with us? It all comes down to, the humans are very much smart, no matter what they invent. It's as long as we put ourselves in a position of advantage, I think we will do the right thing. And the only thing that's different from previous inventions to this is because of all this technological improvement, things are happening too fast, and the need to do something about it also is urgent. I think once we take care of the AI ethics and accountability and do the responsible AI, talking about the impacts and benefits and potential risk, it should be good. And I'm sure, like I said, it's not one person's job, job. It is everyone's job, and then government should, and education systems or anywhere, they should take that into governance and the risk and compliance, embed that into it.
Definitely, I think that's great advice. And also, I think your thought about both responsible AI, also explainable AI. I think it's quite fascinating and very useful for people who are hearing this. So thank you so much. I just have last couple of questions. I know you have a busy life with work and family, but idr madhya when you get stressed out, or what are your hobbies? ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟ?
Oh, that's my favorite topic, actually. It goes back to my childhood habits, actually. I love to do a lot of things. I love hiking. ನಾನು Saturday, Sunday ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವಾಗ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅವಾಗ hiking ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. We have a group hiking ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ just sometimes I go myself. That's where I need my quiet time, and I don't want to make any decisions nor have any goals or anything, any purpose. It's good to kind of went off few things in quietly or however you want. Hiking has been very helpful. I do direct and script comedy Kannada dramas, so definitely I love that, and I'm thankful enough to have few audience who have enjoyed in the past, so that keeps me going. So I think those are the couple of things. And then nam family navella travel madak tumba ishtapadteve, so we're very much drawn to different cultures, different people, how they think, do stuff. I think this modern world has enabled us to travel virtually and also physically, so that's just definitely keeps keeps me going. In fact, career development is not always linear. Like I said, it's very zigzag, but some people are lucky to have that linear growth. In my case, whenever the things were not going for my plan, I've always looked to my hobbies, these things to keep me happy. And it all comes down to you're responsible for your happiness and peace. So I think having hobbies definitely helps.
Definitely. I think like, yeah, again, like very useful to see how you, despite having a busy life, thinking that hobby is what makes you more happy. I think it's very fascinating to think of. Nim Kannada ಮುಂದಿನ ಡ್ರಾಮಾ ಖಂಡಿತ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಖಂಡಿತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ನೀವು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಡ್ರಾಮಾ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ.
Definitely, yeah.
Cool. ಸೊ ನನ್ನ ಕೊನೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮನ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚಾದ್ಯಂತ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮನ ಇವತ್ತು ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಥವಾ ವರ್ಕೌಟ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ, ಡ್ರೈವ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕೇಳಿ ಅವರು ಸ್ಫೂರ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಪಡಿತಾರೆ. ಈ ತರ ನಮ್ಮ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲ್ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಂದೇಶ ಏನು?
Be curious, be open-minded. Adu jatege, I'm the one of the example of a wild card where you could you don't have to crash and burn early on with a full speed passion, but give yourself good break when needed. Prioritize when you think family side prioritize ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ do that, but never stop learning. Whatever it is, if it is technology or non-technology, art or whatever it is, if you're continuously learning, I think you're current. And I also, one small book I would advise anybody to read is like Who Moved My Cheese? That is so small, like under 200 pages or so, that shows how to adopt to the constant change and that. So I think that's a good attitude to have for anyone ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ.
ಆಸಮ್. ದೀಪಾ ಅವರೇ, ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತು ಮಾತಾಡಿದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ಈ ಸಂವಾದ ನಿಮ್ ಜೊತೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನನ್ನ ಕಾಲ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೆರಿಯರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಹಾಗೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ MBA, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಯು ಡಿಡ್ ಕವರ್ ಬ್ರೀಫ್ಲಿ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಯುವರ್ ಡೇಟಾ.ai ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್. ಹೇಗೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಮೇಸಿಸ್ ಇಂದ ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು JP Morgan Chase ಅಲ್ಲಿ C-suite ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋದು, ಸಚ್ ಅ ಇನ್ಸ್ಪೈರಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೋರಿ. ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು.
Thank you for having me. I'm very happy to represent Bengaluru voice, Bengaluru, and very proud to be Bengalurian, Tumkurian, and all of that.
ತುಂಬಾ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್. ಮುಂದಿನ ವಾರ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿ ಮತ್ತೊಬ್ಬ ಸಾಧಕರನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನಲ್ಲಿ ರಾರಾಜಿಸುತ್ತಿರಲಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್. ಲಿಸನ್ ಟು ಯುವರ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್.
ಆಲಿಸು ಗೆಳೆಯನ ಹೃದಯದ ಮಾತೊಂದ, ಬಿಚ್ಚಿಡು ಬಚ್ಚಿಟ್ಟ ಮನದ ಕನಸೊಂದ. ಹಿಂದೆ ಸಮಯ ಮುಂದೆ ಇಡಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆಯ ನಿನ್ನ ಸಾಹಸ ರಥಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾರಥಿಯಾಗಿ ಮುನ್ನಡೆಸಿದೆ. ನಿನ್ನ ಬಾನಂಗಳ ಕೆಳಗೊಯ್ಯುವ ರೆಕ್ಕೆಯಾಗಿ ಕೂಡಿದೆ. ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್, ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ವಾಯ್ಸ್,
Bengaluru Voice. Listen to your heart.